prolific all through the ground.
So it attracts them, and then they stay, and they cure the ground basically from its.
Yeah. Let me get a shovel. If you like to see worms, I'll show you.
Love it. Let me just save my battery.
All right.
In a second.
So you gave me a worm farm, and I kept it for a brief while. But what I really did was I took the worm castings and the worms, and I put an equal amount of worm castings and worms in these 5 or 6 boxes right here.
I see.
And that's the only place those worms went to.
Did they jump ship, or are they still there?
Oh, they're still there. I'll show you they're still there.
I heard, you know, that night crawlers, they get up and move away once you take the lid off. But maybe they're just so happy.
Didn't go anywhere. So all these worms that are in here,
nice.
They didn't go anywhere.
Oh my God! Whoa.
These are from this place.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow, look how many worms.
Yeah, that's.
And do they multiply to the demand? Just how much food? Because you're putting in 1 month you fill that up, and that's a ton of food. Now with the hay and the rock dust, do they just kind of multiply and spread out? They creep out based on how much food is available.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. They can just go a long way. A little bit goes a long way.
So there weren't any worm farm worms in here. That's just what came out of the ground all by itself.
Wow.
When you make a compost pile, in this 1 month that it was sitting there cooking, as you add the compost and you build up the layers, the temperature increases and it gets so hot you can't even put your hand in it.
Wow.
When I made these layers, I made it layer until it was so high that it would just fall off again.
Judging from this, there were 10 layers altogether.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so 10 layers. Wow. And it seems that's the better way to do it, is to build them horizontally, spread
Well, actually, just so you understand that this compost pile was 4 feet wide and 5 feet long. And then there was another compost pile 4 feet wide and 5 feet long.
Okay.
Here. So just looking at this compost pile, I layered it, and after about 10 layers, the stuff would just fall off and wouldn't go anymore.
Wow.
And at that point, I took a post hole digger and I dug a hole down through the center of the pile. And I just, whatever I dug out, I just laid along the sides. So it looked like a volcano with a big hole in the middle. Now
So
that made the oxygen permeate all the corners of the pile.
Good to know.
So it was aerobic instead of anaerobic. And I did that with all the piles.
So that aids in decomposition and aids with the stench of it, make sure that everything is breaking down.
As long as there's lots of oxygen, there's good bacteria, it won't smell at all.
Yeah.
And if it smells bad, that means you got the bad bacteria.
That's interesting to note. I think that we wouldn't...
What does it smell like?
Nothing really.
That's good
the earth. Yeah, it smells like the earth.
It's got some earthworm. You can't even pick this stuff up without getting a bunch of earthworms in it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Clean soil.
We recognize it as bad if it's actually bad bacteria. You know, well, like we notice it.
When it smells bad, it is full of bad bacteria.
So it's right. Yeah,
but
that's
when
what I'm saying.
it has lots of good bacteria, lots of oxygen, lots of good bacteria, then the odor goes away.
Yeah, that's good to know. That's a good point.
So that's what the compost looks like.
Nice.
And captions right there.
All right, worm castings. Let's see what's inside. Come out with your hands up.
Yeah, there's some earthworms in here.
Wow, that's some really nice soil.
Yeah.
And I'm noticing that there's absolutely no smell.
Yeah. And that is a snail that eats other snails.
Oh, look at that big long one.
Yeah, man, they're healthy, I tell you.
These
guys are healthy.
Good stuff.
So I put these snails in here to eat the bad snails.
And yeah, okay, so go on. Besides those snails, what's your system to combat negative insects or parasites or things like that would interfere with the smooth progression of this?
I like predator insects.
Kind of
this is a predator. He eats the larvae of the snails that have the round coiled shell, and slugs also.
Whoa. All right. Does it ever get like a lot of bees run through here, or butterflies?
Yeah. Not all butterflies are good butterflies, but all bees are good.
Good to know. Sweet.
Yeah, see, in this box, I put in compost pile number 5, and it had 10 pounds of rock dust in the compost.
Okay.
All the other, I had other information, but it was written with hand ink and it disappeared with the sun.
Yeah, baked away.
So that's these boxes. You can't even plant in here without running. Look at all the worms in here. You can't even plant in here without disturbing the worms. There's worms just everywhere.
That's great. Definitely a signal of a nice,
This is
healthy
all live.
ecosystem.
There's so many little bugs in here, you just can't believe it.
Nice.
These are all avocado leaves.
Yeah. And that goes on the very top, on top of the hay. You just put one last layer.
Well, sometimes I use the hay when I run out of everything else.
Oh, okay.
I shouldn't be putting the hay on top of the trees here because it should all be wood chips. But we're going to put in another layer of wood chips in August or September this year, because you can see it's getting a little thin here.
All right.
Yeah.
Nice. Feels very aerated. You walk around here like it's not compacted, like a bounce. Reminds me when I was in National Park and they have all the pine needles that fall down, and the ground has kind of a bounce to it.
Yeah.
Good stuff. The rock dust, here it is. The magical secret to mineralization and the creation of high quality soil combination.
Glacial rock dust.
Alright. Now, Gaia Green.
It's from Canada.
Yeah, most good things are. That's where I get my coffee from. So, no, I don't use it for the drinking. It's a different sort of coffee, but anyway, it's good. All right, Prabhu. I think that a wheelbarrow. It's a beaut. Watch out. That's what I want. I'm looking to, learn a few techniques so I can be a one-man army on the field.
This is the technique I'll show you.
We're rolling out.
Yeah, that's all my shoulder.
No, dude, you should have brought your backpack. The avocados, I know I throw away like, 20, 30 of those.
To grow an avocado like the tree that you want, you have to graft.
Just I'll cut it open.
Grafting is a technique where
Just soak it in water.
you grow the root system here for 1 year, and then you sprout these and grow these for 1 year in the ground.
Nice.
Then you take a branch off of it and you graft. You take the branch off the tree that you want the fruit to look like, and you graft it onto the